afternoon, everyone. On this April 29th of 2021, I'm Mayor Diana Broderson, and welcome to our city. We're so glad you joined us today. We are going to have our monthly Grandview Avenue revitalization project, that's a mouthful, update today. But first of all, just a couple of quick announcements. Most of you have probably heard about the great event that we're going to have on Sunday right here in Muscatine, Dance into Spring. It's going to be a free event at Riverside Park. Starts at 5:30 on Sunday. Bring your own lawn chairs or a blanket to sit on. It's been organized by the Hancher Auditorium, and they have just done a great job putting together this event. And we are so lucky that they included us. This is part of a 3-stop tour, so you're not going to want to miss it. At 5:30 on Sunday, right down at Riverside Park. And before that, on Saturday is the first day of the farmers market. We're all excited to get down there and see what we have ready for us. And we can see, I don't think we're going to have, tomatoes and corn, that kind of stuff yet, but there'll be plants and there'll be all kinds of starter things to get us going. So you won't want to miss it. And it's outside, so it's relatively safe. Same way with the dance. So I'm very excited to have that open to us. On the COVID-19 front, you all know that everybody's eligible now. So anybody 18 and over is eligible to get the vaccine. You can get those either through your local pharmacy or any of your local pharmacies. Just give them a call. Wester, Hy-Vee, I think there's even been a couple of other ones. And your primary care physician, you can also call public health. But they're out there and they're accessible. There was a great big one last night at Calvary Church from 4 to 8. I mean, there's been some really good opportunities. So there shouldn't be any trouble accessing it if you need one. If you run into trouble or you need help, give me a call. I'll get you hooked up and we'll get you vaccinated. That's going to be our quickest route to get us all back to normal, if we ever will get there again. But we're going to get back to some kind of normal, I certainly hope. Well, we're lucky today to have with us Councilwoman Peggy Gordon. She and Nadine Brockert, our other councilwoman, we have two. The two of them are spearheading our Grandview Avenue revitalization project, and they've graciously agreed to give us an update every month. We have a lot of folks living down there, a lot of businesses down there, so we all want to keep abreast of just how things are going. So welcome, Peggy. Thanks for coming today.
Well, thank you, Mayor Broderson. Appreciate the time, and this is pretty exciting. We're still a little slower, but boy, it's starting to move down on that area. So thank you for the opportunity to talk about the Grandview Corridor project.
Absolutely. Well, I just wanted to say, I think now that, the construction project has began, I think things are going to start moving a lot more quickly now. Don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's sort of what we built this whole program around, was that it was already defined going back a couple years because that's a huge project. And so construction started this week and will go for 2 years. So once we heard about that and was reminded that, we just wanted to make sure we built other programs around that to support the sort of the refresh or the shining the light on that Grandview area. So from that Hershey to the bypass to the river, back to Carver Corner, that whole great neighborhood.
It's just going to be great.
And I do want to
that. Yes. Go ahead.
I just want to point out that Kelsey Brackert is involved too. He's one of the other council members on the team, and Jody Royal Goodwin of the community development team is huge in this too. So
it is. Sort of I know you've put together some really nice groups. From the. Yes. That where of course each one of the pillars are going to have their breakout pieces, but then also the overall group that I think Carol's on there and I'm on there, Kevin Jennison.
Absolutely.
And then we have even some community representatives, folks who live and work down there, which we really want to value. We do value their input, so it's going to be really important to have that available to us. Let's see, we have the pillars up here, I believe. Can we go back to the pillars, Chad, and just give people a refresh on just, what is really involved in the Grandview Corridor project? What are those 5 pillars? Do you have them memorized, Peggy?
I could probably if it was Jeopardy, and I take pillars for 800. But the pillars just help us represent and categorize and make people responsible, little sub teams on different areas. So of course the first one was the reconstruction project, which is the road, and then we have economic development, which we all know there's things that we desperately need in the Grandview area. That's probably going to be the one that takes the longest time, but we've got some things on the horizon definitely there. Then we wanted to call out resident programs. What can we do? And I think you'll see some opportunities here in the next month or two, because Jody has an intern assigned for the summer to help her get some resident feedback, following what is it called, the Hearts and Soul program and such. So maybe at the end of May we can talk about that, because we'll really see that kick off, and what can we do to help support the residents in that area. We've also talked to other committees or organizations like Rebuilding Together, who just had their big work day last weekend, but Frank and his team are always willing to help. So we've sort of brought them in on the fringe. I want to make sure we keep them in the loop. So that's an area we need to flesh out more. And then the next one is business support. So we have economic development, which is new businesses, but we also need to support our current businesses, whether it's the Chamberlains, the Revos, the Wolves. I mean, there's a lot of great stuff. The Rose Bowl, Pete's Tap. Think off Grandview. We have to think beyond, or Land of Oz, Riots and Rebels. We have lots of great businesses down there, and so what can we do to help them? And like I said, we need to think beyond just the street. So we need to get into the pockets of the neighborhood. And then the last one, which is already a foundation in Muscatine, is the recreational amenities. So that's another pillar. I know Kelsey's working on that with Parks and Rec to see what other opportunities we have down there. I mean, we already have soccer and baseball and the mini pitch and the skate park and just the trail system alone. So what other things can be brought into what's sort of one of our key recreation zones anyway? But we've identified those 5 pillars to help us reinvigorate, refresh, reinvest in this area. So and that's what we've.
I think you're right on target with the economic development and the business. I've had a couple of people ask me, well, what's the difference? And so I really like the explanation, that the economic development is going to be developing new. So maybe bring in a grocery store, really studying to see what's needed. Maybe another gas station, what kind of services are lacking, or where are the gaps. But the business support is really going to be serving the already existing businesses. Right.
Yeah, because they are important, and they've been actually growing, it seems like. I don't know the numbers. I'm not, I'm part of the chamber as a member, but I don't know our numbers and everything. But if you drive down there and you go, gosh, this Harper, Chamberlain, Revo area, Bosch is looking pretty good. Yeah, and new additions and stuff. So Muscatine Lumber, refreshing that corner. So how can we help them, or like I said, beyond the street, how can we help them sort of freshen up a little? Is it a refresh on the building? Are there new technologies they need? There's programs that the city has. Do we need to increase those? What can the chamber help with? So they are distinctly 2 different things.
And Pete's Tap has done a great deal of expansion and really revitalizing his area over the last couple of years. You're right, Muscatine Lumber, Chamberlain down there, Harper's, that's all been really refreshed and reinvigorated, and just to expand on that a little bit. But for the recreational support, I think we could probably venture to say that we have more recreation in the Southern District than in the whole city. I mean, that's our largest area, of recreation for the community.
I did hear something this weekend, and I haven't shared it with Rich yet, But I have some friends who have children that are age of softball players and baseball players. And they say that Muscatine is sought after. I mean, when they have tournaments, they want to bring them to Muscatine because they're all contained in Kent Stein. Whereas if they go to Iowa City or Cedar Rapids, they have to share, locations around town. So it's not as convenient.
No, you got to.
So we have a gem.
Drive over there, drive over.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I need to share that with Rich, but it's like, you think about Kent Stein, which has been a foundational piece down there a long time, and then the soccer complex, of course. The slough looking beautiful. Who's to say that? But it is really lovely. And then the trails that meet up with great deep lakes and the other parts of town.
Just really pushes it over the edge. And even developing down on Hauser, the dog park, the pollinator park, that whole area. We took a nice drive down there just in the last couple of days. It all is getting revitalized and refreshed, and to tie that all in together, is
right.
It's going to be.
And what other?
Sure.
Yeah, and then what other things can come down in that area? I think you'll see some, announcements from Kelsey and Rich and stuff. They're looking at different things. Some might be low-hanging fruit, and that's sort of the thing with this project is it's not a 6 months and it's done. It's a couple-year commitment that we want to focus. So there might be some easy things that Parks and Rec can do, and then there might be some bigger projects that come out of this, whether it's in the residential support or recreation, and definitely economic development will take a little while.
Oh, sure. We've been talking, for quite some time. We've been trying to work on a way to get playground equipment for children with disabilities. All different kinds of little things like that, just to make everything be accessible to everyone in some way. And I know all of those little things are going to be just bonuses that we're able to get infiltrated into our current parks or make new even. The sky's the limit. But I love what you're saying about, some low-hanging fruit so that we can actually visualize and see, progress along the way instead of nothing's going to be done for 2 years. We're actually going to be working all along the way and seeing progress.
And, so Chad, if you could put up the Gantt chart, because hopefully that'll be a piece of information we can share with people on a monthly basis and put out on the websites, just so we can show the progress that's been made or how long things are going to take. There's a couple things that aren't on here yet that need to be on there around the residential support. In February, we gifted a plot of land to the Community Foundation to build a single family home using what is the Iowa for Homes program. I need to talk to Cheryl. We need to put that on there so we can at least see that is in the works. And then what months are they sort of targeting? Because that's what this is, to give you a quick visual, say, what's all the different things? Then we also have the other senior housing that'll probably start this year down off of Grandview. I see they've already started moving dirt on their Colorado location, but it's the same company going to be building. So we need to add that. But if we can look at towards the left there, the grayed out area on that chart, it's just sort of bringing up some things that have started. And we'll try to color code it so you can say, oh, that's residential, that's recreational, that's construction. So like with the Grandview reconstruction, the public meeting was completed. So we can see that that's done. We can see that phase 1 is going to stretch from April to probably November. And then phase 2 is showing up as a separate line, and that's going to start next spring through probably fall. So if we can at least start tracking and showing information like this, it might give people an idea of what's going on. Or when Jody adds her events to help gather information, we'll add that. And that might be like June, July, August type activity.
And don't you think, Peggy, that as we go through this 2-year time frame for the project, that there will be opportunities as we progress for the community to be involved, whether it be helping or sharing their thoughts and ideas?
Absolutely. And I think that's going to be one of the first things that happen, and that Jody and her team will need to work on, is making sure that we hear the voice of the people, the residents down there, and That's with her intern help. So don't be surprised if you start seeing invitations to a park type event, or if you see someone coming to your door and asking for information. It's not that we're just trying to collect and make sure we hear. So she's got her plans, and I think we'll probably hear about those here in May as they get formulated. But yeah, we always want, or we might have, maybe it's a volunteer day working with Rebuilding Together, you know, to spruce up a block or to do something. I mean, Frank's very excited about that. Or clean up, or, you know, we need to support the businesses. Maybe we need to promote things that way, especially as they have to live through construction for a little while here, you know. So yeah, it's going to be very important that the residents are engaged, you know, and involved.
Is the intern starting in May or June?
I believe it was June, but she was available for some conversations in May.
Okay.
So, and I don't want to speak for Jody there, but I thought that was sort of the original. Yeah. And right now we're formulating the subgroups. So we've asked a few business members, a few residents to participate, because we want them involved, and not just this small group, but we need to stretch it to probably 11, 12, 13 people, you know, so we can get zeroed in and work on our areas.
Because I know the goal, you know, from the large group, as we talk about, you know, this project as a whole, we really don't want it to be, here you go, this is what you got, take it or leave it. We want the people to be involved in developing it too, not just into using it after it's done. I mean, we want their ideas. They know, you know, they live there, they work there, they have businesses there, and it's important to them. And they have probably fresher ideas than we've even thought of.
Yeah, yep, absolutely.
I think
so we do need to keep them involved.
Critical for the success of the project, for us to get input and support and have them be part of the team.
Yep, and they're going to help us also communicate, maybe spread the word. I mean, it's very difficult nowadays to communicate in the proper way, because everybody's got their favorite method, whether it's social media, the newspaper, or the radio, you know, but we got to make sure, and they'll be the ones that really help us get that neighborhood, you know, communication and conversation going.
So have we started at all talking about, you know, what the entry to the community is going to look like down there? And when we talk about the entrance, are we talking about 61? Are we talking about Stewart Road? Or are we talking about both?
Well, I think the main focus would probably be, to start with, would be, and we have not had any conversations, so I'm just going off the top of my head here, but if we think about the Southern Gateway, it's probably more the bypass 61 area. We want to make that refreshing and welcoming. We've, you know, done a lot on, you know, the north side of town on Cedar Street. This is busy down here. And it's not to say it's not welcoming, but we want to draw people into town, not always around town.
Yes. And really making the folks down there realize how valued they are. You know, I've heard people say, and in fact, somebody messaged me last night and said, you know, South End matters too. We really want South End to know that they do matter, and we're investing time and effort and money into showing them how much they really do matter, because they're part of the community, just like East Hill is, and downtown and everywhere else.
Yeah, we have different zones, and we all have our all different sort of culture and history and stuff, and that's a very historical area in the way of industry, and where a lot of people lived and worked and grew up. So yeah, we want to show that they're important. And I want to make sure we don't leave Nadine. Nadine is our host council person down here, and she does a great job of making sure that she has fourth ward meetings and things. And I would encourage her constituents to make sure that they find out when they are. She posts them on Facebook, and stop in. You know, because she's very open to new ideas and making sure that she does what's best for that area. So just, I want to make sure Nadine's in there. And like I said, in Kelsey's always, you know, he's doing what an at-large does.
Yes. And I know her last meeting got canceled for rain. But
yes.
she does try to hold one once a month, and she not only welcomes people from Fourth Ward, but she welcomes anybody in the community. You know, I might not live there, but you might have family or friends there. You might work there, or you might, you know, have a recreational thing you do down there. So everybody within the city has interest in what's going on with this project, and she's, even if the project's not going on, I've always known her to welcome anybody to come to her Fourth Ward Riverbend Neighbors meeting, she calls them.
Yes. Yep. So, and she couldn't join us today. She had two conflicts. She's a busy lady today.
She was.
So, but I think I think using this platform once a month is a good idea, so we can bring this up and just update everybody. I like the Gantt chart sort of idea too, because we can just sort of look and see what's going on, and you can look at it in a calendar year at a very high level. Kevin does a great job with posting information, and that's what we've got to pick our favorite ways to learn about information in Muscatine. And it might be not just one. It might be 2 or 3 methods.
You're right. You know, even for people like you and I who are connected practically 24/7 with what's going on in the community, there's still stuff that falls through the cracks that you or I are like, hey, wait a minute, I didn't know that was happening, or I missed that. So it really takes people being willing to go out and get the information too, not just always expecting the information to come to them. And we all have to do a better job with getting the information to people and absorbing it back ourselves. So So I know some months when we do our update are going to be filled with more details than others, but right now we're in what you're calling the planning phase. Can you explain where we're at right now?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Other than we do know the reconstruction, I mean, that has started just 2 days ago. But the rest of it, we've got our pillars decided. We've got invites out to a few people to join us. We just haven't formalized and had like the big kickoff meeting. We've had an internal city team meeting with the city department heads, such as Parks and Rec and Public Works, and of course, community development, planning. But now we need to get the team together and then break into our sub-teams so we can start focusing on one. I mean, you mentioned a grocery store that's on everybody's wish list. You know, how do we do that? Do we start calling? Do we knock on doors? What do we do to be aggressive? So that would be the economic development, and that might mean include, you know, we definitely have the chamber on our committees, but how do we go after that? And then we've got communication with the residents. We've just got to get into our subcommittees and start sort of planning the initial things. What can we do in the first few months? What can we do by fall? What can we do that's going to take 2 years? Even working with a business, and as they say, you know, I'd like to do a little refresh, and this is what we can do, and they've still got a plan and budget for it.
Yeah.
They might not get it done right away, so their planning stage might be, you know, I'm going to put this into second quarter next year. Great, just as long as you've got some idea of what to do to help yourself in this area. So
sure. So so our next update will be the end of May. What do you envision happening between now and the end of May?
Well, we definitely need to get our first team group meeting together. We need to get at least some of our breakouts, our subgroups meeting.
Okay.
I'd like to get a couple of the items on the residents tasks added there, especially around the home for the community foundation, the Grandview, just so we have an idea of where they land on our calendar.
Okay.
You know, so I'd like to get that done, and then I would hope some things from Jody, because she's got a short period of time with this staff member, you know, so there might be some information coming out as to what type of events or how they're going to collect that information. So
right now,
that's what I would expect to do in May.
Okay, very good. What right now, the people that are interested in what's going on with the project, what is their best true source for where to go for information? Our website?
I'd say if it's about the Grandview reconstruction, definitely go to the construction page on our website, because that has all the different construction projects in town. we've talked to Kevin about adding a page for the Grandview project. We don't have that up, and I wouldn't expect that. I think we were targeting maybe June.
Okay.
So that we can just sort of add what the pillars are, you know, for having meetings, that type of thing, maybe a slight event calendar, putting our Gantt chart out there.
Okay.
You know, we can have a Q&A, just different things we've talked about, an FAQ, frequently asked type questions and stuff.
Right.
So I would say by June we'd have that up, have something so people can watch it.
So patience is a virtue right now as we're in the planning stage and getting us moved into more and more progress. But I think with the construction, the reconstruction starting this week, people are going to start getting antsy to see what's it going to look like and where are we headed.
Mm-hmm.
So asking for people's patience and grace as we certainly navigate through the construction season, but also as we put these teams together, you know, and get solicit input so that we can at least get a path moving forward.
Absolutely.
Who should people contact if they have questions right now or have a comment or something like that they want to share?
I would recommend probably emailing either Nadine and or myself. You know, you could add Kelsey on there yourself, using our city email addresses.
Okay.
And that way we could track to it and respond back, and we'll get responses, answers from the appropriate teams, so we can sort of filter that. But I would say, yeah, using our muscatineiowa.gov addresses, and Nadine, myself, you, Kelsey.
Which can all be found on the city's website, but also, you know, just for reference to everybody, it's always the first initial of your first name and your whole last name spelled out, and then at Muscatine, Iowa, all spelled out .gov, and they're all the same, so they're pretty easy to remember that way.
Yes. Yeah.
But yes, you can click on them right on the city's website and get us a message, and I think for the most part, everybody responds quite quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the best way to contact us. Or if you see us out, like I said, I was having breakfast at Redberry on Sunday morning and got into a conversation about this. So yeah, if you see us, ask us.
Yes, absolutely. Don't hesitate. Don't hesitate at all. Is there anything else we need to know between now and our next update?
No, I think that's it for right now.
All right.
Just be patient with construction and be careful with your construction workers all around town. Please give them plenty of room.
Yep.
So
Work Zone Safety Awareness Week right now going on, and our bridge lights are orange to remind everybody of those safety guidelines. You know, it's scary to think that some people's work zone is in the right of way. You know, when police have to pull someone over, or the ambulance is there, or a fire truck, or they're fixing the potholes, these poor folks that are working out here, you know, right outside of the Y where I'm at today, you know, on Logan Street. I mean, they are inches from people driving their cars, you know, and so those reminders to, you know, be off of your devices in the construction zone, because we all know how distracting a device can be. And especially if you're in a construction zone, and just slow down. You know, I love that new hashtag they're using. There's no need for speed. You know, even if you get there 10 minutes later, if you get there in one piece, it's a good thing. And these construction workers, we lose some every year nationwide for accidents. And then the drivers, they have to live with that too. You know, which cannot be an easy thing. So let's just all be, you know, be full of grace and kind and patient, you know, and careful driving through these construction zones, because there are a lot of them right now.
Yes, we have a lot, but
we have a lot. So just be careful, take your time, you know, plan a little bit ahead of, you know, where you're going to go. And I mean, we're over on Newell, and sometimes we'll just take the bypass all the way around, or, you know, just go way out of our way and, you know, avoid avoid
Yeah.
all the construction. So try not to get irritated.
Yeah.
Be
Patient.
patient. All right. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Thank you so much for joining
Thank you.
us today and giving us an update. We look forward to seeing you guys again in a month for our next update, and maybe we'll have new info to share.
We should.
All right.
Definitely. Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you. Well, big thanks to our guest, Peggy, for joining us today, Councilwoman Gordon. Next week, our guest is Clint Christopher, the superintendent for Muscatine Community Schools. As we said, there's a lot of things going on this weekend. You won't want to miss out. Looks like beautiful weather too. One more thing I forgot to mention too is they're doing a blessing for motorcyclists at First Baptist Church on Sunday, blessing of the bikes. And that's outside. So another opportunity to be able to engage in an activity in a safer manner. So I know that event is also open to the public to just come and participate and watch the bikers and hear a few words. So everybody's welcome to that. We really appreciated you all joining us today, and we will look forward to seeing you again next week here on Our City. Thank you.